I flipped 100 rocks in Australia. Here's what I found.
Australia is known for the craziest and deadliest animals. That's why I'm going there to flip 100 objects to...
Are people like casual citizens in Australia worried that they're gonna die to like some sort of venomous or like scary creature? Like, Australia beaches are some of the most beautiful beaches I've seen, but they have like cone snails and shit that just like kill you. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, if you live in Australia and it's not even sharks, bro. I'm not saying sharks. Sharks are everywhere. I'm saying if you're in an Australian beach and you're like, oh, this is awesome. And then there's just like deadly fucking snails and jellyfish that just like casually wash ashore.
Find crazy bugs, venomous creatures, and so much more underneath. I'll be starting in Australia's most iconic rainforest, but by the end, we're gonna get to the iconic Australian desert with insane animals everywhere. But don't think the rainforest is boring, because literally under this first object, I instantly found something deadly. This is a baby giant centipede, which when
How's that deadly, bro? Can that kill you? I used to hold centipedes all the time when I was younger. Not Australian centipedes, but I would be flipping rocks, holding roly-polies.
They get older are known for having some of the most painful bites in the animal kingdom. Since we're in Australia,
I really want to do that. I don't want to be Coyote Peterson, but I need to feel how bad that pinch is, you know? Like, I would get stung by a bullet ant. What's wrong with you? You're not curious? I don't want to do that ritual where they, like, you know, put their whole hand in a glove of them for 40 minutes and dance around to prove that they're a man. I would say, like, sting me one time in my forearm. He overreacts? I don't know. I don't think he does, because I've seen other videos of people do it, and they start crying.
Very likely to see a way bigger one soon. Under the second object, I found something I've always wanted.
That's not a rock, dick. Hey, Terra Green, clickbait. Clickbait.
To find.
Oh my gosh, I thought there was nothing here, but there's a literal massive bug.
But that's exactly part of this bug's design. This is a spiny leaf insect, one of the most camouflage insects in existence. You could barely even see it when I was standing on this.
Bro, there was one that I pulled up on. I don't even remember where I was. It was about yay long. Scared the fuck out of me. I was so ready to stomp on it and kill it because it actually... I think, like, camouflage insects are so scary. Because, like, you could be near them and not know. And so, like, when you try to pick up a stick and ends up being a bug, that's just fucked. But I was like, nah, I can't just murder this thing in its habitat. Like, it wasn't attacking me.
Pretty cool. So I kept exploring, and when I got to object number 3, I found nothing. So I'm only going to show the most interesting animals from now on, which thankfully, object number 6 had something super interesting. At first, you may just think these are regular old ants, but if you look closely, it's actually an insane species. They are trapjaw ants, which you can tell by their massively wide trapjaw mandibles. They have these microscopic hairs inside the jaws that when a prey touches it, the jaws snap within a fraction of a second, making it almost impossible for prey to escape. Yeah, Australia is crazy. Now, as I continued on the
Bro, what is the lifespan of an ant? I feel like I've asked this multiple times on stream and I always forget. It depends on the ant. Some a few weeks and some several decades. Queen ants can live up to 30 years. Wow. So I was peeing on ants older than me when I was a kid.
I was gonna flip this log, but on top, I noticed there was actually a special species of millipede, which apparently has the ability to spit acid out of its mouth. Now, if you didn't know, with me, I have the backpack, where I pack tons of cool objects to interact with the animals I find. And this time,
Bro, let's get some Coyote Peterson shit up here. Just poke it with a stick until it spits on you. But that's what he would do. You gotta walk up to it. Hey, man, you gotta get your hands dirty in the field here, okay? We're doing survival content.
Grabbed a pack of paintbrushes. I wanted to see
we're gonna hit it with a paintbrush.
How this bug would react to being rubbed by one, and yeah, he was pretty mad. Initially, he kept curling up and biting the end of the brush, but eventually, I caught it doing this. Yup, it just sprayed its acid defense chemical.
Yup, it just shit all over the fucking paintbrush.
It just sprayed its acid defense chemical, which stained the edge of my paintbrush, and yeah, it just kept biting it over and over. Well, sorry for disturbing you, little guy. That was pretty cool to watch, though. Now, as I...
Yo, ego's through the roof on that caterpillar. He should have ran, dude. fucking fight or flight. I could respect it, but I think he'd need to get crushed for that.
Hitting it over and over. Well,
Like, you're losing that matchup, pal.
sorry for disturbing you, little guy. That was pretty cool to watch, though. Now, as I continued on to object number 11, I found this. It's not a rock. It's actually a termite nest. Yeah, termites will spend years, day by day.
How much somebody got to pay you to kick a beehive? Like a soccer ball beehive. It's just on the ground. $1,000. You might die. You realize that, right? Even if you're not allergic to bees or like wasps, if you run up and kick it, they're all stinging you. Like, if there's 1,000 bees in there, you're cooked.
Yo, there's like a weird tail thing coming out of this nest.
Yeah, it was literally partly inside the termite nest and poking its head out. I thought I had found some undocumented snake species or maybe a leech, but if you actually really focus hard on how this thing is moving, and in specific, this tiny little white thing on the edge of its head, you can tell that this is a baby land planarian. If you don't know what these are, well, they are insanely creepy. In this footage, you can see how they eat. Basically, they go up to an unsuspecting snail or worm, then all of a sudden they completely wrap around it, releasing a sticky mucus to make it impossible for the prey to escape. Then they push some weird alien tube out their body that they can inject into the prey to then slurp up the insides like a smoothie. Yeah, talk about brutal. I think I'm gonna have to leave you alone. Now, under object number 16, I found a...
See, that's some shit out of a horror movie if they, like, mutated and got bigger. It's like a boa constrictor, but, like, covered in goop. Launches in 10 minutes. We'll tap in 4.
cricket, which I just thought was cool because in America, the crickets are a bright tan color usually, but this one was way...
Yo, crickets be fucking like crazy around this time, bro. I've stumbled upon multiple crickets doing it.
Darker. Now, I quickly took out the backpack and grabbed a clear container out from inside. Yeah, if you didn't know, these crickets make an excellent food source for other animals I'll find, so I'll be saving this to feed it to something later. As I continued walking through this beautiful rainforest,
They're freaky. They are, dude. They have so many kids.
I came across a little creek.
This looks like the perfect water area for deadly crocodiles to be swimming in. Oh, maybe I shouldn't be standing so close, actually.
Yeah, I don't...
You ever see those videos where they release a bull into like a pen of like 300 cows and he's just the breeding bull and they all just surround him? I'm like, damn, bro. He's going to get killed in like 3 years, but like low key, he's loving his life. Like, I mean, all he does is just roam into a field, impregnate 300 cows, and then leave.
I don't know why everything in Australia is so deadly, but I went and flipped some rocks along the river where I of course found a little earthworm. Nice. Under another river rock, I found a pretty solid sized beetle grub. You can see it was quite a bit bigger than my gloved fingertip, but some of these beetle grubs will seriously grow so large over the course of a few years that they may turn into beetles that are just genuinely insane.
All right, let me put your rock back, mister. Hopefully you turn into a amazing, massive beetle one day.
But as I left the river a little bit, I found easily the weirdest thing yet.
Wait a second. I don't know if you guys can see, but there's something moving under this log.
Yeah, it was a bunch of
It's a real ballsy thing to do in like the fucking heart of Australia where you could stumble upon something that could just like kill you in one bite. I know he's an expert on animals, but if I heard something rustle in like this broken down tree, I'm probably not going to grab it.
Yeah, it was a bunch of extremely weird white things moving around constantly. I had to get out the backpack to grab a flashlight so I can get a better look at what was going on. This gave me a bit of a better view to see that inside of here was tons and tons of super thin legs. But they were just shaking so much that I had no clue what these things were until I poked a stick inside, which gave me a slightly better look at one of them. Yeah, if we pause at the perfect moment, it may...
Do you think there's like a dystopian future of YouTube content where instead of like a Coyote Peterson where they endure the pain of certain insects, they get like infected by certain diseases from these insects? Like a YouTuber that's like, I got malaria to see how bad it is. And then it's like an AI thumbnail of them sick, like a Mr. Beast thumbnail, and they're like, with a doctor in the back.
Look like some sort of spider, but in reality, this is a phantom crane fly. Apparently, footage of these guys is insanely hard to get because, well, they shake like crazy when they detect a predator. But in this
next Jack Pembroke video, what's like the worst illness that I would get for content? I don't know. Probably the stomach virus. Okay, AIDS is a lifelong illness, chat. I don't know if I... that is a lifelong STD. No, I don't know. I think, like, the stomach virus would be the worst thing that I would get for content, but that wouldn't even be content. Food poisoning. I would get food poisoning for content, but it would get age restricted, so there would be almost no monetary gain.
Rare footage I found, you can see
the bubonic plague, Ebola. Dude, y'all remember? I feel like some of y'all are too young for Ebola. Y'all remember how scary Ebola was, bro? I remember I was probably 7th or 8th grade when Ebola was like a big problem, and it wasn't as infectious, but you heard stories about people like vomiting blood for like days and then dying.
A spaceship. I'm not even gonna lie, this might be the coolest fly species on Earth. What? For Object 29, I flipped some of these dead sea things and found another super cool ant species. You can see by these guys.
Yo, I want to see you flip a rock and there to be like a baby alligator or some shit, bro. I know that's not gonna happen, but like, I'm done looking at ants.
Awesome gold and green color that they are Australian weaver ants. And what's so interesting is you see how this guy has its green abdomen.
Yeah, he's throwing it back right now.
And pointing up, well, that's actually their special ability. While most ants have mandibles or stingers to take down their prey, well, weaver ants literally have an acid spray in their abdomens that they use to either defend themselves, like these ants, or spray other attacking ants. And yeah, they also build bridges out of their bodies to help the rest of the colony walk across leaves.
Like, you think that's hurting you? Enough of that ant acid.
Talk about a crazy ant species. Now, the next animal I found was actually under a tree. If you look closely, there is actually some sort of bug that looked like it was just floating right under here. I had to put the stick behind it so my camera would focus on it, and after it did, I saw that this is actually a super cool animal called an inchworm. These guys are basically able to float under trees by spinning a tiny thread of silk that connects them.
I've seen them before. Ran into them too.
To the leaves above so they can just hang from it. But this guy actually climbed onto the stick I was holding, and when I went to put him back, you could see how they have some of the funniest movement since their legs are only on the front and back of their body.
How much, you know, goop can you get out of one of these? How much goop they got in store, like a spider, right? Say a spider spinning a web, and then I just start pulling the string. Do I hit like a... or does it just cut off?
They just walk around by curling their entire body up like this. Seems like a lot of effort, but yeah, I just put this guy right back. Now, Object 41 was this coconut, which I found out something super cool about. But interestingly, I first noticed that there was actually one of those trapjaw ants from earlier biting onto my finger. Yeah, I wasn't joking about how strong these things' jaws are, and he was glued onto my hand just trying to inject his venomous stinger in. Good thing I had these gloves on. Anyways, what is so interesting about this coconut is almost this perfect
this weird hole. How interesting. This weird hole that's in this coconut. I wonder what people are doing with it.
Not natural. It's actually a sign of a giant white-tailed rat. You see, these things live in the Australian
Interesting.
rainforests and find fallen coconuts. They then use their insanely large teeth to drill a massive hole into coconuts, which most animals can't do. Then they drink up all the coconut water and eat some of that tasty white meat on the inside. But after the rat leaves, other bugs
then fucking shit themselves from the amount of fiber that they just consumed.
Also come in here like these sap beetles to eat the bacteria that grows inside. Dang, a lot of life in one single coconut. And so I kept on exploring, and when I flipped Object 4,
you think you took that coconut home?
44, I found some of the weirdest springtails I've ever seen. If you didn't know, springtails are tiny little bugs that are usually white, but these ones in Australia I found are bright red. That may not seem super interesting, but if you didn't know, there's a massive market online of people buying and selling super rare springtail species, and apparently 10 Australian red springtails sells for over $30. So yeah, if I was smart, I'd...
How long do they even live where you're spending $30 for 10 of them? $3 for one bug? I think I found a new hustle.
I don't want to interfere with the wildlife, so I'll let them be. Now, this trail is awesome because not only does it end up in the iconic Australian red desert, but it also passed by a literal beach. Yeah, the rainforest was connected to the water here, so I figured I should flip a couple seaside rocks. Under some of them were these aquatic snails with these pretty cool looking shells, and out of other rocks, crabs would dart.
Bro, I'm not even gonna lie. Me just knowing what a cone snail is, I'm not touching any slug-like creature in the entire country of Australia.
Out looking for cover. I wanted to get a close-up of that crab that ran out, so I flipped the rock right next to it and found an even bigger crab.
Oh, look at him, bro. He's...
Yo, is Oceania still considered a continent? No, so it's just Australia. I remember when I was in middle school, it was Oceania. Diverse geographical region, comprising Australia, New Zealand, Papua New Guinea, and thousands of Pacific islands. So, I'm just going to look up, what are the 7 continents? It says Australia. But then, like, how are you going to say it's Australia and Oceania? Because you have to say, like, you can't say the 7 continents are Africa, Asia, North America, South America, Europe, Antarctica, and Australia. Because then, like, what is New Zealand?
just staring at me with his claws up.
Yeah, you could see, compared to the size of my finger, he could definitely give me a pretty good pinch, but thankfully he went and retreated down into his perfectly placed hole. Now, there was also some tiny fish here that I tried to catch with this net from the backpack, but they were just so unbelievably fast, if you can even see them moving around in this footage. This ocean is crazy though, because the Great Barrier Reef is literally less than 10 miles from where I was standing. That place is home to some of the craziest and deadliest ocean life in the world, so I think I'll definitely come back here to make an underwater video one day.
Make sure you're subscribed so when I come back here, you'll get notified about the insane video I make. Anyways, I'll keep exploring.
Now, back in the rainforest, I ended up finding a little log and flipped it. Underneath was just some super tiny, kind of boring ants, which normally I wouldn't show, but as I was watching back this footage, I noticed this leaf had something super cool on it. See all those weird bumps perfectly laid out across the leaf? Well,
a lot of poop, raisins. 3 guesses here. That's probably eggs. I already know he's gonna say eggs.
Eggs.
And y'all think I'm stupid.
Apparently, there's a bug called a large leaf-footed bug that lays their eggs on the bottom of leaves and apparently are able to lay them in this perfect brick formation, which I just find interesting how some
squeegeeing them out like you're fucking icing a cake, dude. You think it walks straight, shits one out, moves a little to the right, shits one out, moves a little to the right, shits one out.
Metrical it.
Why did it lay its eggs like this?
As I continued down the rainforest trail, I found something pretty crazy.
Yo, these have got to be the biggest fruits I've seen in my life.
And in fact, this is actually the largest fruit in the world, called a jackfruit. But what was cool was that it was split open by some animal and was completely rotting. Tons of wildlife was eating it up, like these flies, and it even had some little worm larvae things that were just eating their fair share of it too. Must be pretty tasty. Just kidding, that looks absolutely nasty. Now, the next thing I found was under another tree. But my camera wasn't really focusing on it, so I held the backpack up behind it to show you guys what it is. It may look like some sort of moth butterfly thing caught on a spider web, but in fact this yellow triangle thing is the spider itself. It's a type of northern jewel spider, and yeah, they're born with these crazy rocks.
Fuck no, dude. Like if I look down and I was like, oh, I feel something on my leg, and I see that thing crawling on my body, the shriek that would come out of my mouth would be something that I think humanity's never heard before.
Solid, sharp patterns on their back.
Oh my God. Like, I don't know if I would try to get it off of me, just jump up or kill it.
This makes it so spiders' biggest predators, birds, have a way harder time eating them. The last animal I found in the rainforest section was under this log. It was another crab, but this time it was a land crab, which is a little bit different than the beach crab we found earlier. These guys actually quite enjoy eating crickets, and if you remember in the backpack, I actually caught a cricket in this container earlier in the video, which might kind of not be alive anymore, but it'll still make for some great food. So I brought it over to the crab.
Wow, animal cruelty. Yup, canceled.
And waved it around in front of him. He kind of pretended to grab it, but then all of a sudden
PETA, can we get this guy?
He darted away so fast into a little puddle. He was probably a little bit scared of me.
Well, I'll leave that with you, little buddy, if you want to eat it.
Well, I finally made it to the Australia desert, which...
You just killed a cricket in the wild and didn't give it to anything. It literally died for no reason. I could have lived out a life cycle, had other kids contributed to the environmental chain in some other way.
has some of the most deadliest animals on Earth. And that was instantly proven because under this first rock was another baby centipede. But this guy was still pretty small. However, I'm super confident we're gonna find a way bigger one. Now, under this little piece of bark, there wasn't actually anything, but I did see something running around in the corner of my eye, so I went to try and catch it. When I did, I realized it was a burrowing frog, which apparently didn't want to be with me because it just jumped straight off my hand. But a frog means there's likely water nearby. And after walking around a little bit, I found this little pool.
Oh my gosh, there's so much.
Yeah, how much you to take a glass of that water? Ooh. Yo, would you guaranteed get sick? I think about that all the time. I'm like, how much of this gross water could I drink until I, immediately, a teaspoon? You think you have a teaspoon of this water, you're getting sick? No. You need, half a glass. Because your stomach acid or your body would probably filter out a little bit. Have you ever been in a lake and obviously salt water is a little different because there's not really bacteria comparatively to just still lake water. But have you ever been swimming in a lake and accidentally swallow some of the water? Usually you're fine, So I'm like, how much of the lake water could I drink? Not still water, chat. I'm saying not lake water isn't still water, but I'm saying not ocean water or rivers, lake or pond water. Have you ever swam in a pond or swam in a lake and drank some of the water by accident? You're swimming, fucking around, you go, and you swallow some.
Much stuff in here.
I wanted to get a closer look at some of the stuff in here, so I once again
I think I could drink half a glass of this and be okay.
I wanted to get a closer look at some of the stuff in here, so I once again took out the backpack, and once again grabbed out that clear container. This let me scoop up some of the wildlife in there, which allowed me to catch the first aquatic animal, a tadpole. This is likely the same species.
Yeah, I'm familiar with these. Used to raise them.
Aquatic animal, a tadpole. This is likely the same species of frog that I had just found, so it's pretty cool we found this. Anyways, the second...
Tadpoles are also the coolest evolution of a frog, right? A frog is very, very, very similar to a Pokemon. More so than any other species because it's larva tadpole frog. Tadpole's mad chill. It's also got the little legs on them. You killed frogs. I didn't kill frogs. I mishandled some tadpoles and they died. But I successfully raised and released multiple larvae into frogs, then they would have survived in the wild.
An animal I was able to scoop out of here was quite a bit different. This super weird, almost alien-looking creature is actually a dragonfly larva. Yeah, we've all seen dragonflies. They're pretty insane, cool-looking bugs. But yeah, apparently they start just as weird as babies living under the water. Now, finally, I was seeing one last creature in the...
I'm not vibing with the hair. I'm not vibing with this weird... Ugh, whatever's seeping out of their pores.
Just as weird as babies living under the water.
Oh, that's disgusting.
Now finally, I was seeing one last creature in this pool of water, so I scooped it up. Yeah, these things are almost microscopic in size, but this is either some sort of water beetle or a type of shrimp. I can't really tell which one because of how blurry my footage was. But these guys are probably one of the main food sources of that dragonfly larva we had just seen. Now, as I continued on the trail, I ended up flipping rock 72, where something actually pretty cool did appear. If you look closely, this is a completely bright white spider. I have never seen a completely solid white spider, but apparently these are this color because it helps reflect the sunlight as it just gets so hot in these Australian deserts. This next rock also had something pretty cool. It was giant wood cockroaches. But what was even cooler was that right next to these guys was this bug running around. This is a top whittler bug, and apparently it's in the same family of bug that laid those crazy eggs earlier in the video. I'm happy we got to find one of these. But finally, after quite...
Okay, I'm not giving anybody ideas, but one of the worst things you could do for a society is bring bugs and other fruits and vegetables that have parasites and other creatures inside of them from other countries to your own. You could fuck up an entire country doing that shit. Odds are very low, but if you were to capture a bunch of bugs and plants and bring them on a plane, and let them out so they just become invasive species. That's how you actually just ruin environments.
A lot of rock flips later of nothing, I finally found...
It's like Florida has so many problems with like invasive fish and shit that people just like bring back from other countries to have as pets. And then they get bored of them, so they just fucking throw them in the ocean. And then they just ruin everything.
Something I was looking
Or like pleco fish.
for. And it kind of scared me when I first flipped the rock, but finally...
I had a pleco fish. I never released him. He died. And I thought about eating him. But they get really big. They kind of look like catfish. I think they are catfish. They're called like sucker mouths. Regularly, they get like this big on your fish tank. But mine probably got about this big and died. And I put him on a plate. And I didn't think about eating him. But I was like, I could eat him if I needed to. But if you release them into like a lake, they could get like this big. Like the size of your forearm. And they just eat everything.
I had found a fully grown giant centipede. These things are crazy fast, so I kept getting spooked whenever it looked in my direction. But yeah, apparently despite having some of the most painful bites, it doesn't even have teeth. It actually injects its venom through 2 of its front legs that have been modified to attack prey. And while other invertebrates just go for small insects like scorpions, centipedes are known to take down literal lizards for lunch. Pretty crazy. Thankfully, the next...
Wow. I've never heard about an insect killing like other types of animals.
Take down literal lizards
instead of like other insects.
For lunch. Pretty crazy. Thankfully, the next rock that had something under it also
centipede killing reptiles.
Didn't disappoint. Out from underneath ran a little type of velvet gecko. I didn't get to see it for long, but geckos are always pretty cool to find just because of how interesting of an animal they are. They're also some of the most common pet reptiles kept by people. Now, these next rock flips all rapid fire because I wasn't finding anything super insane, but I did find some termites finally. Also, I found this kind of cool grasshopper, which just jumped into the grass, and I found a super cute caterpillar with a pretty unique pattern. If you're wondering, this caterpillar species turns into this pretty cool moth. But now, I only had one more rock flip till I got to 100, and I really wanted to find a snake here. So
Bro definitely flipped more than 100 rocks. If this last rock is a snake, there's no way. There is no way he flips 100 rocks. On rock 100, he finds a snake.
Really locked in to find the best rock I could that could have a snake under it. I needed to find a rock like this that had a little gap under it where a snake could be. But thankfully, it didn't take too long till I ended up finding this.
Oh, yo, is that a lizard tail or is that a snake?
But as I moved my camera to get a better angle, I was almost certain I had found the body of a snake here. So I very carefully moved the rock to get a little bit of a better...
Crazy. I don't care if I have long pants, gloves on. I'm never doing that.
Look at what was under here. Thankfully,
running the other way.
This didn't look like one of Australia's deadly snakes. In fact, based off the pattern, it looked like a Stimson's python, which take down their prey by constricting it, not with venom.
I swear, every single rock flipping video, I find something cool on the last rock. But dang, I mean, I don't really want to stress you out, bro, so I guess I'll just leave you under your rock.
Well, there was 100 rock flips in Australia.
Bro, I want to see what his face looks like. He goes, oh no, guys. The pythons, it's wrapping around my neck.
Australia for you. Honestly, I found so many cool and unique.
Good thing I have my trusty blue backpack. I'm going to pull out my revolver.
Bugs that make this trip worth it, but I know Australia has so much more to offer in regards to crazy animals, so I'm definitely coming back out.
Yeah, like that thing runs up on you and just starts dry humping your leg? Okay.
It's the crazy animal.
That's terrifying.
So I'm definitely coming back out here one day.
That was a good video, though. I enjoyed that. Respect for not interfering with the wildlife. He killed a cricket, Sue, so... I mean, let's be real here. I'm gonna go piss real quick, then we're gonna probably hop on a call.